Grazie. Efkaristo. I'm sorry. This is where my Greek stops. But I really thank you. There are many, many good reasons why I love Athens. Arapotinatina. That's something else I know. Arapotinatina. It's a great city for many reasons. It's my mythology. Athens is where our civilization started. Athens is the beginning of democracy. 28 centuries ago. It's a good reason. But I have a closer reason to love Athens myself. And this is the reason that I came myself, I was born from the same water. I think what is linking Athens and my place where I was born, Genoa in Italy, is water. It's the same water, it's the same sea, it's the Mediterranean Sea. I think we share something magic. That sea that is much more than a sea. It's like a consommé of culture. It's a sea in which we have been looking at many, many different civilizations. It's a sea that has been recording sounds, smell, form, beauty for centuries, for 1,000 years. And in some way, yes, the vicinity is the water. Water is the connecting matter. This is the common ground for us. I still believe that sea water is the first internet connecting the world. And this is my place in Genoa. This is my place in Genoa. This is not me. That's somebody in the office. That's the office overlooking the water. And I don't want to become too romantic about the water, but there's something true about that. Water is a kind of connecting element. That's our place. That funny thing there is our office. There. There. That's the office, that's our foundation. And, well, I don't have to explain too much. I'm sure you understand what I mean. So when I was offered this job, I thought it was for a number of reasons, many reasons, but also for this one, it was something to do, because I felt part of this. So this is the office in Genoa. This is my working place. That was probably clean for the picture. Normally it's not that clean. And you see that the water, the sea, is the constant background there. It's, and this is the model shop. I'm myself son of a builder. And that's what formed my background. And my office is called Building Workshop because of that reason. So for me, architecture is also the art of making things. The art of crafting building well. Well, architecture is much more than that, but it's also that. And you know, when you grow up in a family of builders, you grow up with this idea that architecture is making things, is creating shelter for human beings. That is a fundamental experience. It's something that keeps you away from academy, from formalism, from funny argument. It keeps you clear that your job is going to be the one of making building. And this is the office in Paris. In Paris, we have the office in the middle of the city, in the Marais. It's a similar atmosphere. Our office is called the building workshop because it is like a building workshop. And this is, I take you for a ride through the work. Of course, I will say something about the work we are doing here, the Stavros Niarchos Foundation building, the new opera, but let me go through the work. Otherwise, you don't understand the source, I mean, the inspiration of what we are doing. This is a long time ago. Well, you recognize this is Paris, that's a 77, back in the time. This is a job we made together with my friend Richard Rogers. When we started this job, I was 33 years old. I was a little bad boy. And my friend Richard was even worse than me. Bad boy in the sense that this building was evidently a rebellion against the idea that a cultural building should be intimidating and difficult to approach. So the idea that was, I admit, a bit extreme, was the one of making a tool or a factory. Somebody kept saying that this was a factory, was not a cultural building, and we are very pleased about that, because we found that the factory is much better than a museum. Of course, you have to keep in mind that at the beginning of the 70s, that is when we won the competition, museums were used to be very, very difficult places, very intimidating. And we thought at the time that curiosity was a better emotion than intimidation. And curiosity was going to be the beginning of a different attitude between people and culture. And actually, of course, Beaubourg or Centre Pompidou didn't change the history of a museum, that's for sure. But it did happen in the right moment. This is a view of the piazza. This is the piazza. And the piazza is since then, since 77, so it's now 30 years, is a meeting place. It's that kind of thing. And culture is also about meeting. Culture is a mix of sacred and profane. It's about watching beautiful painting, reading book, listening music, but it's also about gathering, coming together. I am convinced that urbanity is one of the most beautiful sensations you can build in a city. Actually, cities are a great invention, and I think that the piazzas are the place where, in some way, you mix experience, are places where the difference goes away. And this was the idea, that the piazza in that building, that piazza, was maybe even more important than the function inside the building. It's not true, of course, because that building is a very important cultural institution for art, for culture, for music, for library. There is a library there that is visited every day by 15,000 people. But the environment, the piazza, the idea that this is a tool, is a kind of urban machine, but is part of the city, is very important. Well, it took about 10 years to make this clear. For a long time, it wasn't. Well, this is my friend. And this is a kind of life in the piazza. I'm going fast because I want to show you not really the history of my office, but I want to show how different each adventure is. Architecture is adventure. Architecture is not by repeating yourself. Architecture is about reinventing yourself every time you start. You are a bit like Robinson Crusoe, and every time you land in a different island, and you have to start again. Well, it's not quite true, because of course you start on your experience. This lady is a great lady that went away 10 years ago. She's Dominique de Menil. She came after Beaubourg, and she asked me in the office to design the Menil collection in Houston, Texas. It's a great collection. She was a great lady. Stubborn, but intelligent, light, sensitive, fantastic lady, fantastic client. As an architect, you never can do something good without a good client, that's for sure. It's impossible. It's a kind of teamwork where if you are left alone, you will never do something good. You need a client that talks the same language. You need a client that